like you said, to Trump, but they're getting beauty.
He said, go out there and rob these houses and bring back the bounty, and then that'll pay your way.
Because Republicans who get endorsement from Georgia carry that they mean anything.
You can't sit on the sidelines any longer. You must get involved in the game. This is your sign.
All of us coming back. I cannot accept this fade to black, and the thought of the wasted dreams of a nation down on its knees. Is it already over? Tickets to the circus show. If you don't, then you'll never know. Take a stand while you have the time. Drown your fear and keep hope alive. Be the change that you want to see. Be the wrench inside the machine. Is it already over? Is it already over? I don't think it's over.
All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the show, Wednesday night show. I almost didn't do a show tonight. It has been a madhouse at work. So I'm only doing this by the skin of my teeth tonight. And I've got a ton of stuff that is coming up. And I've decided to push things back past this runoff jungle primary election, right? So April the 7th. So if you're just new with us tonight, if you're just joining, please hit the like, share, subscribe button, share to any groups. Thank you for coming in. It could be just me solo tonight. We might have a guest pop in. We'll see. Because sometimes I fly by the seat of my pants. And I decided that since tomorrow is SIne Die in Georgia, I figured that we would go into some of the bills that I've been following and studying with other groups. And, of course, I will not be able to be down there at the Capitol. Lots of stuff going on. This is an election year in Georgia. A total leadership change in this state. Lots of people are vying for it. Lots of people are vying for your vote. Promises are being made. Promises are being broken. Just a ton of stuff going on. And, some of my most favorite shows are education shows, so this could be fairly boring for people, but this is, to me, the meat and potatoes. This is where the battle is at. It's in the legislature, and after following this for a few years and just learning new things every year, this is kind of the roadmap to get you involved in the political side of things. I mean, think about this. I was just, thinking about this to myself. We are conservatives. We vote Republican on this show. Yet, do we ever safeguard our bills, right? And if you follow me enough, you know that I feel like that we've been under some sort of globalist regime in the state of Georgia for many years now, especially under Brian Kemp, and he has shown no love. In fact, he broke away from the Republican Party. He created his own coalitions. Even went on air and said that he did not vote for Donald Trump. He did all these things, but yet I'm supposed to just take all this with a grain of salt and just vote Republican because it's the right thing to do, right? I don't think so. The battle is in the legislature with votes, with bills, with things that are, benefit humans, right? And it doesn't feel like that we live in a very beneficial or pro-human state, right? Corporate welfare, corporatocracy, digital technocracy, right? It seems like that's the future of Georgia. And there's folks on the ground. We're all trying to prevent this. We want to get back to just simplicity, morals, values, God, Jesus, family. And we're not the only state, of course, but we are what I call one of the ground zero states of all of this. So let me make sure that everything is up here. If you are in the comments, please let me know that you can hear me. I do have the phone number up if anybody wants to call in tonight. And just double checking because I know that we had a little bit of dropout last week, but I am recording the show. So far, everything looks good. So, all right. So I'm gonna pull up a few things because I have to do some honorable mentions tonight and this is a roadmap of where my headspace is at and the things that I follow. Where I get my information, right? Because you always have to fact check me. You always have to make sure that we have to fact check each other. We question everything so you got to understand where I want to share with people out there. A lot of people ask me, how do you get involved? And I say there's tons of groups, there's tons of people out there that can help you get involved where you're not just completely lost in translation and you pick up and you learn, right? Because the number one goal is education. It's always education. If you don't know what you're fighting, it's like Sun Tzu, The Art of War. If you don't know what you're fighting against, if you don't know how to fight in the battle, then you're just pretty useless, right? So I have to learn new things and learn how bills work and learn how crossover and SIne Die and all of this stuff works. So I want to do a couple of mentions here. And you've probably heard this a million times, but for some of the new people that are joining in, it's a good refresher. So let me minimize myself for a minute. So it's a pretty laid back show tonight. Feel free to comment, call in. Let us know what bills you're concerned about, what bills you're happy with, what you think that tomorrow might bring us, right? And we'll get into that here in just a second. So I want to pull up a couple of things real quick. So this is, of course, my Facebook. So I want to just show a couple of, very important places that you should be at all times, right? If you're not subscribed to Voter Georgia, of course, this is some of the most pertinent information about election security that you could possibly get, right? Garland Favorito, so many good people. Tanya Sosa, who from Peaches and Bananas. These people are the leaders in election security, the leaders in paper ballots and all things that lead to election security. Don't let anybody ever tell you. I know how some people feel about. I know how some people feel about. Well, we can keep the electronic devices and all this stuff. And I mean, really, does it matter to you that much? Because we're offering in the election integrity movement something that would be the most transparent, the most secure, and it doesn't involve electronic machines. It involves hand-marked, hand-counted paper ballots counted at the precinct level where we have employees of the state, and mind you, these employees are fighting against that. But it's just insane to me how I thought of it today. If this is not just like 6 months ago we started fighting about election security. Number one, the Democrats were fighting for years for paper ballots until they always turn their back because they can't ever be in agreement on anything, right? They're going to fight if the color is red and you agree that it's red, they're going to fight with you and say it's blue. That's what we know this, right? We can't even get we can't even get, like, if there's any, like, decent blue blood Democrats to even admit anymore, like, that paper ballots would be the way to go, or that we have problems with our election. They all know it. They're liars, you know? And then, of course, you have the country club Republicans who could care less, and they love the system, and they just think Brad Raffensperger is the greatest thing since sliced bread, and they're morons. They're absolute morons, and they know it. And so, you know, it's not like it's a secret, right, where we should be, what we should be doing. Of course, you have this huge election lobby, electronic election lobby, that does nothing but court people, and we're going to have a special coming up soon about that. And they dump tons of money into the state because, number one, they know that Dominion is going to be on its way out, whether we get it out tomorrow or whether we get it out 3 years from now, and they are next in line to be your election security expert, right? And but battle has been going on for years. Some people it's been 20 years, but for the most recent, the vast majority of this started in 2020, and look how far that we've come, right? So I understand if you don't think that it's a big deal, but it's a huge deal, and everything sort of centers around free and fair elections. And if you don't have free and fair elections, then you really have nothing. You just have a complete fake state, and like a lot of other places. And even Taiwan, of all places, Taiwan can get paper ballots right. Puerto Rico, I believe, is doing paper ballots. So it's amazing to me, too, that we have to fight this hard in Georgia. Of all places, we're fighting this hard in Georgia when other states have already dumped Dominion systems and did away with other things. You have Florida around you. You have all these other states that are actually catering to the people and wanting free and fair elections. But Georgia continues to be the stalwart and not allow any of this to go through. So it's really, really crazy. But, oh, good. Okay. Thanks. Good to see everybody. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank y'all. All right. So Voter Georgia is very, let me get that off there. Voter Georgia is, you've got to be there with Voter Georgia. All right. So I want to send a special shout out to Operation Echo. If you don't know what Operation Echo is, then you need to look it up. But there are people that are working tirelessly to coordinate and get things together and put everybody on the same page. And I'm so fascinated with some of the people here in Georgia that continue to just fight. It's wonderful. But if you don't know what that is, maybe you should look it up. So I want to send a special shout out to Georgians for Truth. This is another one. And let's see if I can get that pulled up here. Georgians for Truth. I'm just doing all this through Facebook. These people have social media everywhere. But the Paper Please movement, Georgians for Truth, if you're not following them, and you see me tag them all the time, Sam Carline, Phil Cersei, the Grady Boys, absolutely fabulous guys. They've worked tirelessly, been spit on. They have been kicked out of events. The fish fries and others. They've been blocked through some elective functions in the state. These guys never sleep. They're always working together, always working with people, trying to bring the movement forward. These guys were the ones that brought a group together back last year at the state convention and shared it with everybody to try to get paper ballots at the state convention, which they were completely denied, ignored, overlooked. And we all know how nasty the convention was last year. And I'll have something special coming up on that in June. But anyway, this is another group that if you're not familiar with, I think that you should be following. You should be following them on X. You should be following them on Facebook, everywhere that they are, because they've got wonderful, wonderful information out there. And those guys are great. I have enjoyed every single second that I've spent with them and their team of people. This is where I get my information from. Free, open source, transparent. These people, everybody I'm sharing with you tonight, it's very simple. People say, well, how do you think about what you're doing and the thought? This is it right here. This is where you get the meat and potatoes. But Voter Georgia, Paper Please. And they're not the only ones, but these are the ones that I follow. So, of course, if you're not a member of this next one, I don't know why, but if you care about the Second Amendment whatsoever, and we've had all these people on the show multiple times, the Door Brothers, Georgia Gun Owners is to me the most effective Second Amendment group I've ever seen. And for years, I've been with these guys since like when Marjorie Taylor Greene was running back in the you know what I'm saying? Like 2019. They're amazing. They've been responsible for some of the best legislation, stopping some of the most draconian legislation. And these guys know exactly what's going on, and they're constantly talking to the people all the time. I mean, you can't get any better. I'm a member of Georgia Gun Owners. I think like I've learned so much from them, and I've seen them work tirelessly at the Capitol in Georgia to protect the Second Amendment. Now, everybody knows we've got a major chance of the state of the country rather switching over, flipping to Democrat. So you're going to want Georgia Gun Owners in your corner because the first thing that the Democrats are going to do when they get in charge, if they get in charge, is they're going to drop some draconian freaking Second Amendment bills, gun bills. That's going to violate everything that we know of the Second Amendment. And I'm telling you, you're going to want these guys on your side. So. And, I'd like to get some honorable mentions in the comments, too. You guys tell me if there, who else. But let me see if I can pull up the Freedom Caucus, the Georgia Freedom Caucus. So these guys have an incredible email that you can follow. And you see Mallory Staples down at the Capitol and others that work with them. I get a lot of my information on the legislature from them. They sent out an awesome email today. Of course, we're getting down to SIne Die, but I follow the Georgia Freedom Caucus. What they represent is everything that represents me in my fight, in my stance, and the kind of bills that I want to see go through. So I follow the Georgia Freedom Caucus because, like I said, we're in lockstep on where we want our legislation to be. And let's see, Georgia vaccine choice. Let me find that. Georgia Coalition. Here it is. The Georgia Coalition for Vaccine Choice. This is another one. I've been following them for a while. I just recently kind of got involved in their Facebook and stuff, but I've been getting the mailers. And each one of these people, if you sign up for the emails, they will give you up-to-date texting on bills and how you can sign the petitions, because that's some of the easiest stuff you can do because your legislators need to hear from you. All right? We've covered this ad nauseum probably, but again, they need to hear from you. And if you can do something just as simple as just open the text link and send out a message, right? Supporting or wanting to ban a bill. This is a very easy and effective way. And most legislators tell you, well, not many people didn't. They try to write off this kind of stuff. But I'm telling you, numbers work, folks. And so this, I think it's Sandy Marcus and a few others. We had Julie Allen on the show not too long ago with a wealth of information. But again, this is very important when we're talking about, what is it, medical freedom, the medical freedom bill that we're going to cover here in a little bit. But man, I'm telling you, you can't go wrong with these people. And checking out their information, especially during the legislative session. All of these people are hardworking patriots that are trying to safeguard everything in Georgia for a pro-human future, right? So that's a few of them that I wanted to bring up. I have been looking at the Georgia Constitution Party. That's they've got some good links out there that we can look at. Let's see. I'll pull that other one up in a second. But yeah, this is where my headspace is at. That's where everything that I look at when it comes to Georgia, I'm going to those people first. And it hasn't failed me yet. So, anyway, let's see here. I'm trying to figure out what I need to do. Yes, okay, so good. People are bringing up some stuff in here. Wonderful. Ooh, Christina Benjamin says, honorable mention, Moms Against Gambling, Truth and Education. That's true. So, yeah, guys, in Georgia, we have a very serious problem with gambling and casinos. And in case you didn't know this about Georgia, and there's probably a lot of people that even want it. But for about the past at least 11, 12 years, we've been bombarded down at the Capitol by gambling lobbyists, right? Casino lobbyists. You've seen the Georgia lottery expand in all these places, and now they're talking about sports betting and online betting and all this stuff. And just so you know that's a huge thing going on in Georgia, and it's not going anywhere. It's not going away. In fact, just during the crossover, they snuck a little bill in there. And what was it again? The gambling. There was a sports gambling during crossover. And I've pointed out before, too, that several of these online polls, like right in the middle of the poll, there'll be like a question about how do you feel about gambling, see? Because they have this lockstep plan where they want to put casinos in all parts of the state. They want to expand gambling and betting of all sorts because they want to make money, tons and tons of money off of it. Me, I'm libertarian when it comes to gambling. You want to gamble, you do that on your own time. You want to have a poker game, you do that on your own time. You gamble on your own time. That's your business. I don't think the state has any right to be in there. And technically, if I were king of Georgia, first thing I would do is I would cut the Georgia lottery out and I'd just get rid of it all. But that's just me. I know we all know that what it leads to down the road, and it's nothing good, right? But I'm glad that Christina mentioned that. Because absolutely, Truth and Education is a good one. Oh Lord, Holly Therese, was it the Citizens Alliance is a good one. There's a bunch of good ones, but these are the four that I'm bringing up now because that's just like a given. Any time of the day, I'm going to be checking that kind of stuff. So let's see. So I don't think I'm going to ramble too long tonight, but tomorrow, so SIne Die, what SIne Die is, people call it SIne Die, SIne Die, is basically what it means. It means you either sign the bill or the bill dies, right? So you go through the opening days of legislation. As you can see, there's probably been about, 1,400 bills that have went through. Not all of them went through, of course. A lot of them are dead on arrival. They die in committees. They get a vote. They don't get a vote. And then it comes to what you call crossover. And crossover means that basically the House bills will cross over to the Senate bills will cross over to the House, onwards into SIne Die. And there's so many things that are going to happen in between that, right? For example, I'm going to give you a couple examples where some of these bills, like SB 440, which is the ivermectin bill, some of the wording was taken out and put into like HB 657, which is like a workaround for ivermectin. So it's crazy at how much can change tomorrow. So thank your lucky stars that we've got people that are going to be down at the Capitol that are going to be trying to safeguard this thing all the way through, and trying to make sure that we get something good out of this legislature. So I think what I'm going to cover first tonight, I'm going to cover the top 3 bills that some of the groups are watching right now, and I'm going to bring it up, and hopefully we can bring it up into the latest rendition of it. The first one is a doozy. It's going to be a House Bill HB 960. And this one is one that you're going to want to get involved with. This is the one that tomorrow we're going to be sharing links tonight, where we're going to need to have as many people like yelling and screaming about this one, okay? So we'll start with this AI overview. As of late March 2026, House Bill 960 has been transformed from a judicial measure into a contentious election overhaul bill requiring hand-marked paper ballots for the November 2026 election, a manual recount process, and the public posting of voter turnout lists on election night. This is a Senate-passed amended bill, is viewed as a major, costly, and rush change to voting procedures. Now, this is AI talking. Now, let me just stop for a second. we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of this, but let me explain something to you. This is what the Democrats, this is what the rhinos, this is what they want you to think, that this is some crazy rushed bill that is going to cost, it's going to cost the taxpayers so much money, and you got your county election boards that are completely against it, and blah, 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 and we've got a contract with Dominion. Let me tell you something. We've been fighting this battle for 5 or more years, okay? They are liars. They are lying to you. They are lying to everybody, and the reason is because there's major opposition, because they do not want to go to paper ballots, okay? They have no good reason, right? But we've got to stick with the machines, and they've already got ES&S courting them for the next iteration in old Liberty Election Systems, which is formerly Dominion, and it's a whole new brand, folks. They're courting our Georgia legislature for who's going to be the next big boy to sign a contract with, right? As you know, Georgia is one of the only states that actually signed a statewide contract with Dominion in the first place. But it is a teetotal, absolute lie. Governor Kemp finds paper ballots, of course, abhorrent, and of course he finds people like me abhorrent, and they don't want to touch it. Remember last legislative session where Governor Kemp basically threatened him, said, I don't want any election integrity bills on my desk, right? So this is a doozy. You know, this was started, Greg Dozal carried this bill from Senator Colton Moore, and it has turned into this bill where basically we want hand-marked, hand-counted paper ballots. Very simple. Doesn't mean that it's going to be totally 100% fraud-proof. That's not what any of this means, all right? We're looking for transparency, fair elections across the board, right? So the key provisions of this amended bill are hand-marked ballots, requires voters use hand-marked paper ballot. Oh, let me make sure that's pulled up here for you guys. Yeah. Hand-marked paper ballots instead of electronic ballot markers for the November 2026 general election. And furthermore, right, what I find funny is where it says for the November 2026 general election. Like, I wonder what that means. Does that mean that the bill gets passed, it's only going to be for November 2026? We want this permanently. So you see there, you got to watch the wording on some of this stuff. Manual recounts mandates a manual recount of certain races and introduces post-certification manual recount. So why would we want that? I don't know. Maybe because we have Fulton County in Georgia, maybe, you know? I mean, yeah, so. Yeah, absolutely. We want that. Voter list publication requires election officials to publish a list of voters who have cast ballots by 11:59 p.m. on election night. What is wrong with that? Why would we not do that? You understand? Like, this bill just spells it out, makes it so easy. Why would we not do that? Challenges of voter eligibility, imposes a $100 fine per vote. Oh, this is accountability, right? Because we don't have any accountability. So this adds in some accountability. Impose a $100 fine per voter on local election boards that do not rapidly process challenges to remove voters, a reduction from the earlier proposed higher fines. Because remember, we're paying NGOs a ton of money to remove voters. Remember Raffensperger said we're going to purge the voter rolls? Yeah, like that really happened, right? Timing and cost. The bill requires implementation by July 2026, which election officials warn is too rushed and will bring significant unfunded costs for counties. Mind you, we had blue ribbon committees last year all over the state where they were scratching their head while people were, we were talking about paper ballots a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. This is on them, folks. This is not on us. They are lying to you, okay? Backgrounds and status, a zombie bill status. It was a non-controversial bill to add a 12th Superior Court. Well, I don't know what that means. With language. It says Senate action. The bill was gutted and replaced with language from the failed Senate Bill 568 to include the sweeping voting changes passing the Senate 32-21 on March 27th. And the next steps, the Georgia House must approve the amended version before the end of 2026 legislative session, which is tomorrow, and send it to the governor. Of course, it's opposed by voting rights groups like the ACLU of Georgia, who argue it raises privacy risk. and it increases the likelihood of human error in counts and pressures officials to remove eligible voters. Yeah. Number one, that's a lie because nobody's removing eligible voters. Number two, increases the likelihood of human error in counts. When do you realize the hundreds of thousands of errors that we've been able to prove with electronic voting machines? I mean, this is the weakest argument ever, folks. But this is why I'm trying to point this out, because you need to know this, because this is a simple bill, just like the SAVE Act or anything else. It's a simple bill. It is on the backs of the Georgia leadership. This is nothing new under the sun. It's been what has been proposed for so long. And it is all on them because they do not want this bill. Now, we have been, I think, kicking and clawing and scratching for this for so long. Shout out to Greg Dozal for carrying this bill and trying to see it through. But here we are. Tomorrow is SIne Die, and don't ask my opinion on whether this bill is going to pass or fail, because I don't want to give it, and I'll probably say enough to that you're going to understand what I think is going to happen with this bill. But again, I'm not going to tell you whether I think the bill is going to pass or fail. What I will say is that we've been fighting this battle for 5+ years. Myself, more people have been fighting for way longer. And it's down to this election year. God only knows, but you tell me if you think the bill's going to pass, okay? But it's going to be a fight, and I'm glad we got people down at the Capitol that are going to be there fighting tooth and nail for this bill. So the next bill I want to cover is SB 572. Okay, we'll just stick with the AI on this because it's all of the same. This one is a very important Second Amendment bill. You can check Georgia gun owners for this. I'm sure that they have, and I'll be posting links. I'm sure that they're going to have, let's see, they're going to have links where you can sign to, push notifications out tomorrow to the legislatures. This is an enhanced. It expands the stand your ground laws by strengthening immunity protections for those claiming self-defense. It was passed by the Senate in March 2026. It allows individuals to claim immunity earlier, requiring clear and convincing evidence of a crime for prosecutors to proceed, often splitting votes along partisan lines, blah, blah, blah. Of course it does. Why? Because the Democrats got to be anti-gun. Blah, blah, blah. Ridiculous. Key aspects of SB 572. Immunity expansion. It broadens the justifications for using force in self-defense or defense of others. I have no issue with that whatsoever. Procedural changes. It allows individuals to claim immunity from prosecution shortly after being charged, creating a presumption of justified force. Burden of proof requires prosecutors to meet a clear and convincing standard to continue cases where self-defense is claimed. All right. The status passed 30-23 in March 26 in advance to the House, largely supported by Republicans for strengthening Second Amendment rights and opposed by Democrats concerned it complicates prosecutions. Like, when did the Democrats even care about prosecutions, for crying out loud? They let people they just let people go. They let murderers and you-know-whats go for $1. Proponents argue this ensures innocent people are not prosecuted. Argued this ensures innocent people are not prosecuted, while opponents cited concerns about its impact on prosecuting cases such as the killing of Ahmaud Arbery. And if you don't know that case, if you haven't followed that case and understand that case, I can't explain it to you here. That is one of the weakest cases to use for this argument. Good Lord. But anyway, that's a huge Second Amendment bill that we are rooting and hooting and hollering to get passed. All right, and there's others, but these are kind of the top 3 bills that we'd like to see. Okay, so the next one is going to be HB 54. And this one, let me see if I can pull it up here and Legiscan. And I think this is the one. This was the one about. That's not the right one. Hang on. Sorry about that. Georgia HB 54. Let's try this other one here. Anyway, this is about puberty blockers, so I can't find that one. If somebody in the comments can give me a good, I'll come back to that one. If somebody can get me a good link for that one. So let's see here. I'm trying. I think I put that in. 54 for puberty blockers. That's another big bill that people are looking at because we didn't have. There it is. There it is. Surprise ban on so this was in February the 10th, but let's just read this. This is from the Georgia Recorder. Georgia Senate passes surprise ban on puberty blockers for minors. So would also block gender-affirming care for those on the state health plan. Now this should be a no-brainer. We covered this on the show where some of our taxpayer-funded money was actually going to fund health plans for people that were doing gender-affirming care. That's absolutely ridiculous, right? Be the same thing as like getting a boob job. But it's ridiculous that we would pay for that sort of thing, right? But let's see. They added, it says Republicans in the Georgia State Senate hijacked a bill aimed at increasing access to home health care service by adding 2 last-minute amendments that will further restrict access to gender-affirming care for transgender Georgians. Both amendments in the bill passed in a party line vote. So there it is. House Bill 54. We'll pull that up. It says would prevent doctors from prescribing puberty blockers to children diagnosed with gender dysphoria and feeling distress. I think that's wonderful. The bill would not prevent adults over the age of 18 from seeking gender-affirming care. Exactly. We want to protect our children. I mean, this is exactly what we want. And this was David Clark was one of his sponsors of the bill. And this is a good bill. We want this bill. We want to block puberty blockers. That's absolutely ridiculous that we would even have this conversation here about not doing it. So those are really like 3 top bills that you need to be looking out for tomorrow. I'm going to try to post some stuff that's going to send some links out so that people can just do like some one-click, hey, we want to hear this. It's always good to text your legislators about this because, see, I heard that earlier this evening, the Senate has done a really good job this year of getting some really good bills through, but it's the House that is going to have the most contention, right? You got a lot of scared, weak, feckless rhino Republicans that won't stand up and vote for these bills. And, and of course you got Democrats always. I mean, look what happened before crossover we started this year with these wonderful tax plans, right? We were going to freeze property taxes. We was going to do away with income tax. And it all failed. It all failed. We're not even talking about taxes anymore. And it's just crazy to me. And I'd like to highlight at least a win, we believe. Anyway, let me go back here. That's the wrong one. Let's go back up. Let me get rid of that. There it is. So this is a good win. HB 421. Let me put that back in here. Georgia HB 421. Now, this bill is known as the Interstate. Let me make sure I'm pulled up here for you guys. Hold on. Oop. Yes, let me get it back over here. This is known as the Interstate Sexual Predator Prevention Act. Make it a crime to travel from another state into Georgia with the intent to commit child, or indecent acts against a minor under 16. It expands the child protection laws to explicitly cover interstate offenders. It passed the House and was in the Senate Judiciary Committee as of March of 2026. So this is a great bill. We want it passed. I think that it's a no-brainer that it's going to get passed, but I just want you to know that that is a wonderful bill. Sexual predators, of course, I believe that we can fix some of that with some rope and a pole, and we want to inflict as much judicial pain on these people as possible. We don't want any of these child predators coming into our state. Lord knows we're run by child predators that are all across the country, and we're trying to keep Georgia family oriented and free of these kinds of crap. So that's actually a good bill that we think is going to pass, HB 421. So we'll be looking out for that. Hopefully, we will see that. Let's see. The Constitution Party, they also have, I'm going to post some links to that later. So I want to go over a few that are like a little concerning. Now, that bill, HB 421, that's good. Interstate predator prevention. So let's see. Let's do this one really quick. The HB 218. So there is this crazy bill that is kind of floated through, and about the flu shots. I think it's 218. Let me try that out and see what comes in. Anyway, it changed to HB 645, so let's see if I can put that in, because you got to understand some of this stuff, and it's what I don't really get, but a lot of this stuff can be last minute. They can take a bill like a HB 218, and they can gut the wording out of it at the last minute. At any point tomorrow, they can gut the words out of it, and they can put in a completely different bill while nobody's looking, while everybody's arguing about something over here. They can just throw whatever they want and pass it. So that's why it's so very important to keep up with this stuff. But I can't seem to find it here. Oh, that's a good one. We may have to look at that. Okay. But anyway, what it basically does, and I had it pulled up here earlier, but it basically mandates that they start to basically put the flu shot in, or the way it was explained to me, if you go to the doctor's office right now, I guess it's anybody under the age of 18, you're not really asking about a flu shot. But this bill there was some text that were added into this bill that would basically require the doctors, once you're inside of the doctor's office or wherever you're at, to not only recommend, but strongly recommend of getting your child or anybody a flu shot. Okay. Now, I don't know. We've been through COVID. We've talked a lot, but I don't know how to explain this to people, but years before, the COVID ever came about, flu shots, I don't know if anybody remembers this or not, or maybe it's the Mandela effect, but I seem to remember flu shots were around for forever. But then after the flu season was over, the news would always tell you about how that basically the flu shot had the wrong flu strain in it. It was the one that they sort of, thought they based it on. Well, this is the strain we think is going to be the most powerful this year, so they make up a bunch of flu shots, and it ends up being the wrong strain that you're protecting yourself against, and people still get sick. I mean, and this happened this past year. I just saw this on the news again from last year's flu shot, talking about how they didn't really get the strain right, and people still got the flu. And it's like, why would we take any of this stuff? Why are we working on our own holistic health? Why are we working on our own body, our own immune system? I don't need a shot from these people. But this particular bill, and I can get you more information on it if you want, and we're going to have to watch it closely, but they kind of gutted some words and added some language in another bill that would basically make your doctor adamant, not even like asking if you want a flu shot, but basically the language is like, hey, you need to get a flu shot. You know how people are put under pressure and they say, yeah, I'll do it. So that's basically what this bill does. So that's a little concerning. And SB 440 push. So this is another one I want to get into the weeds about. And 44 minutes. Okay, we're good. SB 440, and this was a big one. We didn't get a lot on our medical freedom bill, and I'm saving the QR code for a second because I'm gonna, but the ivermectin bill. Let's see. because this one was really like, I really wanted to see this. But there's a lot of stuff going on here where the push was for SB 440, which is an ivermectin bill, over-the-counter ivermectin. Right? There's nothing wrong with ivermectin. In fact, the more that we research, the more that we understand what it is. It's a great thing for parasites. It's a great thing for people to take. What I believe happened was that some of the wording got taken out of 440 and put into another bill called HB 657, if I'm not mistaken. I know I don't want to get so in the weeds and lose people here, but just about the shenanigans of how they can do this stuff. And so here we are now. So this is I guess this is Georgia lawmakers revive a bill. This is from WABE that would make ivermectin available over the counter despite concerns. And of course, they're talking about despite concerns. Like everybody and their brother is on Ozempic right now. Oh, despite concerns. It's ridiculous, the fake media that comes across this, but nothing wrong with this at all. Georgians who want to buy this is how they word it. Look at this crap article. Georgians who want to buy the controversial anti-parasitic drug ivermectin may soon be able to pick it up. This is actually March 20th. State House Committee Thursday amended a bill to allow pharmacists to distribute the drug over the counter to Georgians 18 and older. The language was added to a bill aimed at updating provisions around the Department of Public Health that had already passed the Senate during the final madcap days of Georgia's legislative session set to end April 2nd. Because the bill was amended, it needs to pass the Senate again. Now, this is where it gets interesting. The bill passed the House despite warnings, blah, 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 like Johns Creek Democratic Rep. Michelle Au. Yeah, don't even get me started. But here's the problem. Of course, this is always going to be, and we'd be the sixth state to do it. This is where it. So HB 657 is not a good bill. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm trying to find. Let's see where I can find this bill 657. Let me just try to type that in, because basically they took the ivermectin bill and they put it in the 657. This is 2526. The mental health, substance abuse. I think that is it. But there's some issues, I think, with 657. Now, I'm not going to sit here and try to pretend like I know what 657 is. But the meat and potatoes of it is that they took this ivermectin out of this bill and they put it in 657. So right now there's a lot of opposition to HB 657, right? Whereas if it were left in SB 440, it would pass with flying colors. But that's just what they call a workaround. And again, they do this stuff all the time. A gun safety bill I'll cover really quickly. They did a gun safety bill, HB 69, and they added it to HB 248, and basically they added it to where it still creates a list, right, for people that sign up and to use the tax credit. So if you take a gun safety class, you get a tax credit, right? That's a good thing. Whatever, take a gun safety class. Well, they added it to this bill H248, which adds to the gun storage safety list, which is always what they've been trying to pass. And basically, it creates a gun registry. You understand? So a lot of this kind of trickery happens all the time, where it'll be a good bill or something that we want, and then they'll tack it on to something that we really, really don't want. And then if it passes, you're gonna get what you want, but you're also gonna get put on a gun list, which is crazy. There's also another bill, SB 499, which is a Second Amendment bill, that basically, I think it gives silencers back, but it also takes away a trigger switch because they did one of these workarounds. So, two more bills that I want to cover before I go to comments. Let's bring up the data center bill. And This is a big one to me. Of course, you guys know how I feel about data centers, and we know that they're not going anywhere. But I want to pull this up real quick. It's SB 410. Now, we know that Greg Dozal also did a bill to eliminate the tax exemptions, right? Which would have been good. And don't know exactly where that is, but I want to bring this up, SB 410, because we are all being affected by data centers, and they're not going away. And right here. So let's bring this one up. A bill let me make sure I'm up. Yeah. A bill to be entitled relating to general provisions relative to state sales and use taxes so as to repeal the data center equipment sales and use tax exemption, to allow for the continued use of certificates of exemption issued prior to the state of repeal. So basically, this is getting nowhere. It's really getting nowhere, and it's kind of a no-brainer. We all know, no matter what anybody tells you, okay, data centers are going to affect us, and to me, in more ways than you could ever possibly imagine. But again, I don't even think that we're getting any traction on this bill, and it's just ridiculous. We're not going to get anywhere with data centers right now. In fact, Donald Trump is executive orders. We've got good people that are fighting these data centers right now. I think Floyd County now is up to 5 data centers in Floyd County, which is abhorrent. But again, it breaks my heart that more people don't understand what's really going on with the data centers. So the last bill that I'm going to cover tonight is we covered. Let me see. Hang on one second. Let me type this in. And so we covered 960. We want 960. HB 214. Yeah, that's it. So this one is one that really pisses me off. Excuse my French. And I don't know exactly where this bill is at. If you know something that I don't about it, that's not it. Let me just go back here to Facebook, because I'll go ahead and address, the elephant in the room of what I said. But I'm going to go down here to the Vote of Georgia, which has an outstanding newsletters that you, of course, need to be reading and understanding. That's funny. Tiger Woods. Where is it at? Shout out to Charlize Bird and Noel Kaheen for being awesome, by the way. Golly, do I really post this much? I must have missed it. Anyway, this bill that I'm talking about, and I guess it got a little bit of attention, but this QR code. So right before crossover, the supposed Democrats, which were Brian Kemp said, "Hey, throw this in the hopper," right before crossover, put a bill in that basically stated that they were going to, they wanted to extend the QR code dates, right? So you got to understand something. SB 189 is the QR code bill. All right, let me do away with this. SB 189 was already passed. It was a QR code bill to do away with the QR codes. It's a big bill. QR codes are illegal, no matter what they say. They're illegal. And we voted to do away with them. And they were supposed to end July the 1st, 2026, right? This year, we're supposed to get away from the QR codes. Now, there's some election integrity bills that will do like a printed ballot, and then we got to scan the ballots and blah, yada. And that's part of this, supposed to be doing away with QR codes, right? And kind of getting half and half here with paper ballots or whatever. Not really paper ballots, but a step in the right direction. However, this law was passed, 2 years ago, I believe? And your Secretary of State that's now running for governor, Brad Raffensperger, has done absolutely nothing the Secretary of State's office. Your governor of the state has given absolutely no money to budget any of this stuff. Even the election board, I don't think they got any appropriation money until this year. So they've sat on their hands and did nothing, but they decided last year that they were going to do these wonderful blue ribbon committees where they would discuss it, and they would discuss the QR codes and what are we going to do? And so our state of Georgia has been literally sitting on this law, this bill that was passed into law that by July 1st, 2026, they're supposed to be completely getting rid of the QR codes. And right before crossover, they threw this bill in there, and it's my speculation, I think Kemp wrote the bill and gave it to one of his buddies to throw it in there. And now we're at SIne Die tomorrow, where this HB 214 basically was written to extend the QR codes out from 1 year, but now it's turned into, we're going to extend it to 2028 instead of 2027. So they're going to extend the QR codes out 2 years, claiming we just don't have the funds, we don't have the time, people aren't going to be able to do it. And it made me really, 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 really mad, because it's a slap in the face of everything that we've been fighting for years. It insults my intelligence. And of course, I was pretty adamant. I said, if you vote on this bill, not only will I stop participating in elections, but I'll become an advocate against voting. Now, mind you, I was a little emotional during that. And I haven't really changed my mind on that, because this is, like, to me, would be one of the biggest slaps in the face. Okay, we're trying to move the law and change our election systems. I can get one thing where you're getting the breadcrumbs, but when we've already passed a bill that's on the books, okay, that's there, that should have been dealt with, and our feckless leadership did not deal with it, and now they're going to use tomorrow as the punt to kick the can down the road even further. I have a major problem with that, you know? So, yeah, I mean, that really sucks. And I hope that everybody down at the Capitol tomorrow realizes that that's going to be a deal breaker for a lot of folks if you extend these QR codes out. Now, we could agree and disagree on all day on what that means, as far as, like, well, the QR codes could still give us some data and blah, yada. But this was a law that was passed already, all right, to kick it down the road even further when we've been fighting this hard to fix this crap. Just, it's something I don't know that I'm going to ever, I don't know if I'll be able to get over it, really. I just don't. But you're talking about a bill that was 2 years old, and now they're trying to extend this QR code, and that just really just freaking tears me up, man. And there's one more crazy bill that I want to talk about, the time change bill, and I've been told that this probably won't go anywhere. But I follow Julie Allen. Obviously, if you don't follow Julie Allen, you need, I don't know why you wouldn't be following Julie Allen, but I want to scroll back for a moment to one of her posts, because at first glance, I was like, time change bill. Now, naturally, my body is more in tune with where we're at now. Even though it's like, I like that fallback where you can get that extra hour of sleep, I always feel sluggish in the wintertime. We always feel sluggish in the wintertime. But for some reason, you move the time up forward where you have more daylight time, you feel better. And let's see here. I'm still trying to find that. But I need to go back to this post, because I found this kind of crazy, that the way this is going to be. And let's see, where is it at? I think I've passed it again. Oh, there's the unsecure voting system bill. So yeah, I'll send a repost out about Garland Favorito's post, because I have to admit I got a little angry about that. But you guys got to understand that it's all a clown show. We've been fighting this stuff for so long. They know exactly what they need to do. Our president knows exactly what we need to do. We get promised every other day that, oh, Maduro is talking, and oh, we found all of the cover-ups of the election integrity security, and we're still at court over Fulton County, for crying out loud. And it's like, what is going on here? We can't even get a simple bill passed. We can't go to paper ballots. I mean, dear Lord, if you can't handle it, then get out of the way. We can handle it. I come up and handle it. But anyway, this time change bill actually, according to what I've been reading on, let's see, where is it at? I know I shared it. Ah, this is it right here. So I'm going to pull this up really quickly. Sorry, I just got lost. Here we go. Why? Oh, I know why. Because I made myself bigger. Let me go back down. Small. My bad. Okay. So this one's a doozy. Oh, that's the wrong one. Dadgummit. Let's see here. Man, Julie Allen's got some of the best posts anyway, but anyway, I cannot find it, but here's the meat and potatoes of it, my bad. Is that basically they want to go on like Puerto Rico time or something where you would go an hour forward. An hour back. And there it is. Okay, I found it, y'all. Thank you for being. Now, listen to this. This was from the 31st. I didn't realize this. The Georgia House votes this week. Move Georgia out of Eastern time, puts us on Atlantic time like Puerto Rico, 1,500 miles east, forces sunrise after 8 a.m. for 3 or 4 to 4.5 months, push January sunrises close to 9 a.m. It's a backdoor to permanent daylight savings time. Kids going to school in the dark, parents commuting before sunrise, Georgia out of sync with neighboring states, travels business. I mean, I don't even understand why this would even be a good one. Permanent DST leads to darker morning standard times align with our natural rhythms. So I brought that up because I'm like, how crazy is it that the state of Georgia, like, where would a bill like this come out of? Like, where would this come from? Why would you even consider doing that? Like, right now, the time we are on right now, we get the most daylight, right? Summer, daylight longer, daylight, our bodies require sunlight. It's one of the natural building blocks, the foundations of life. We have to have air. We have to have food. We have to have water. We have to have sunlight, for crying out loud. Now, why would anybody consider a bill like this that would take away sunlight from us? It just is beyond me. Like, why would you do that? That is not a pro-human bill. That's like anti-human. Are you trying to blot out Georgia and make it darker so that, the temperatures can be right for data centers or something? I mean, what is this about? Like, when you really think about it, like, where did this bill come from? Who on earth would have done this bill? Could you imagine what it would be like anyway to go into that kind of time zone where you wouldn't even be in sync with, like, Tennessee, Florida? It just makes no sense to me. But I'm telling you, man, when you think about, like, the implications of that, like, we need the most sunlight we could possibly get, and we're already, I've got these fluorescent fake lights on me right now. That's what my body. I'm not getting anything from this. You have to have the sunlight. We want to get as much exposure to the sun as completely possible for our vitamin D, our psyche, for crying out loud. And you want to take it away from us? I can't quite make sense of that, folks, but I want to put that up on your radar because, again, that was... Let me get that back up again so that you'll remember that bill, HB 154. So you want to keep a lookout for that. We do not want HB 154 at all because that would be more detrimental, I think, to the human beings than anything I could think of, really. But again, we're dealing with a corporate welfare state. If you and Georgia be number one state to do data centers, man, then maybe that's what they want to do. Is they want to put us on a time, a time where you get less sunlight, so you can keep your little data centers cooler. I don't know. That's just me hypothesizing, but very freaking strange, y'all. Very strange. So anyway, that's my layout for the bills. And again, tomorrow is SIne Die, and we'll see where we stand. So we'll be sharing a bunch of stuff about that. And so I'm going to go through the comments. So Christopher Rayleigh, good to see you. Susan Haddad says Georgia is being ran by a pack of demonic criminal politicians. I agree. Show me something different. I agree. It's a corporate welfare state. This is an anti-human state. Corporatocracy, technocratic state, you name it. And they're not making it any easier for people like us to live here. And it really sucks, to be honest with you. I'm so close to the Tennessee line, I'm like, man, I could just move over to Tennessee and forget about this state for the rest of my life, But, I mean, at least over there, they're dealing with accountability properly. But Corey Lowe says, did you see the puppet on the Senate floor? Yes, I did. Yeah. I mean, I almost commented on that about the puppet. I guess they give the puppet to the newbies that whatever it is a monkey or something, and I mean, what did we get this year, right? Lemon pepper chicken wings or something. I mean, yeah, great. I mean, that's wonderful. It's hard to take some of this stuff seriously, folks, but yeah, if that's the same one that we're talking about, I did see that. So HB 1303, I'll pull that up really quickly and let's see what that is, because it's in the comments. HB 1303. Cruelty to children. Okay, hang on a minute. Let's see. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay. It says, relating to cruelty to children so as to provide for the offense of possession of a controlled substance in the presence of a child, to provide definitions, provide penalties, provide limitations on the merger, to provide. So I'm not completely familiar with this bill, but Trey Kelly, looks like it's a Republican-sponsored bill. And that is 1303. Oh, okay, here, let's do this one. It says, creates a new crime in Georgia called endangering a child by possession of drugs, which applies to anyone who knowingly possesses a controlled substance while a child is under 14 years old is present. The new offense is separate from the original drug possession charge, meaning a person can be prosecuted and sentenced for both. The penalty will be determined by provisions outlined. Okay, I have no problem with that. I have no problem with that. Absolutely. Kids don't need to be around drugs. Absolutely. We need to be harder on them. We don't want all this stuff, especially if we're talking about medical marijuana, that kind of stuff. We don't need all this illegal activity in front of our children. I mean, our children are struggling as it is with the TikTok generation. So, yeah, I'm all for that. Keep us posted on that, Corey. Let's see here. 100 bills on the chopping block tomorrow. Absolutely. And we did have some good bills this year. It's a lot better than last year. Last year was like, oh my God. I would say overall it's better. I'm really, really upset that we didn't get better on taxes, but I feel like we were kind of duped. And I'm not saying that to any individual person, but learning about taxes and learning that it was going to require a constitutional amendment to get them passed. Yeah, I didn't see our Republicans courting Democrats over this any, I didn't see that push. I saw it as like it's like the shiny object in the room. Everybody's happy and upbeat about them, but you come crossover, both of them end up failing, and it's just like, what's the Price is Right? It just petered out. And now you've got the next batch running, right? We got to deal with in May and November. It's just, what's that, Rick Jackson? I will do this. I'm like, come on, folks. Like Burt Jones did that thing at the beginning where vote for me and I'll make sure it happens. I'm like, really? Like, it's just bread and circus, man. I mean, I'm already hearing that schools now are going to raise their millage rates again. So, it is what it is. But let's see here. Denise says HB 369 needs to be vetoed by the governor. First step towards taking away qualifying. Yes. Thank you, Denise, for bringing that up. So what she's bringing up is a bill that is basically be the first step towards like nonpartisan, right? Whether it becomes like election boards or I guess certain judge positions or whatever. They're trying to make all of these positions nonpartisan, all right? And that's just another step in the direction of like socialism, right? It's making everything the same where you can't tell the difference between anything else. And here we are with jungle primaries, open primaries, and now they're wanting to introduce a bill that would make nonpartisan positions, right? We already have a huge problem with NGOs and development authorities and all of these regional NGOs that are ran by appointed positions that we've covered on this show. And then you're going to turn around and make them nonpartisan, right? To me, that's asinine. It's ludicrous. And it's ludicrous that it be brought up in a Republican, heavy legislature. But we all know where that's going in November. So, I mean, these people are shooting themselves in the foot with this kind of stupidity. But no, they should not be nonpartisan at all. So there's a shout out for Operation Echo. So, yeah, Christopher Rayleigh is dropping some good stuff in there, some stuff that he follows on YouTube. Georgia gun owners held the line and got us constitutional carry. Absolutely, it did. Thank you, Christina, for the honorable mentions. Check out Moms Against Gambling, Truth and Education. And Susan Haddad says, we need a push for HB 960 to be passed for election integrity. That is real. Absolutely. That's huge. I follow Greg Dozal. Greg Dozal was on War Room. I haven't even got a chance to see it yet. Probably trying to listen on my way home. And, yeah, I'm just going to be honest with you. I know people like Greg. They don't like Greg. I'm impressed with what Greg has done this year. I'm impressed with what Greg has pushed to the floor. Because it doesn't matter at this point. We've been under this Kemp regime, this thumbprint for so long. It's nice to see some other Republicans like standing up against the system and pushing these bills forward. I know that Greg, hasn't done everything, but none of them have. And I think that we should give credit where credit is due. I send a shout out to David Clark for the work that he's done on some of these child predator bills. It's good stuff, man. Good stuff. So let me come back down here. Sandy Marcus Group, Georgians for Vaccine. Yes, we covered that, Trish. Thank you for that. And wonderful group. Wonderful group. Let's see. Scribbles the puppet. Yeah, he gets 2 shots out on the House floor and a puppet on the Senate. Welcome to Georgia. Yeah. Yeah. And there's a medical marijuana bill that's apparently going through. We're going to be gearing up later on in the month to do that show. Christina Benjamin says, one more honorable mention. PFAS Georgia and their attorney Ben Finley gave a powerful testimony against the PFAS liability shield. Absolutely. You guys know that we've been on the ground fighting our own legislatures against corporation shielding. If you haven't been following that, it's just crazy. And now they're going to be getting taxpayer-funded grants to clean this up. And we're going to be working on a plan to make sure that every single penny goes to what it's supposed to go and not into some fat cat's pocket. So, yeah. It says it's crazy. So many people, Christopher says, to form groups to try to get government. These self-serving assets really suck. They do. They do. I mean, when are we going to get some, people stand up, man? So Jennifer White, good to see you, says, yes. So we're looking at, like I said, there's medical marijuana bills going on. Sandy Marcus is here. Wow. So, yeah, I don't know you, Sandy. I've been following your stuff for a long time, but I just want to send a shout out that the amazing work that you do with your group. And I've sent many of the text out and the petitions for bills. And we just appreciate people like you and what you do. So, again, that's pretty awesome. Dominion must go. I agree. That Trish Ann Hay brings up a good point. Fighting no longer started with debolt machines or longer started. I don't know if you've ever seen the documentary Kill Chain. I've mentioned it multiple times on the show. If you can even find it now. But I paid to watch the movie. It'll tell you everything you need to know about electronic voting systems. It was meant to be this wonderful video that came out for the Democrats about how you can cheat these machines. And when the 2020 election happened, they buried it. I got 2 community strikes for naming it but you need to watch the documentary Kill Chain. We might see if we can bring that back up. So, yes, the QR code, that really, really made me mad and fighting mad because I want to sit here and look, and I'm thinking about this Bill 960. I'm like, we can't do election integrity. What's the point of even voting anymore? That's really, I'm talking to you people that want my vote. What's the point of even voting anymore if we have to go through this much crap? But, again, Trish, we've got some good comments here. Yeah, they pay for sex changes in prisons. That's ridiculous, and absolutely they do. And we still have, I don't care what anybody says about DEI, okay? DEI is still alive and well in corporations and schools, in the brainwashing of our children. It's all over the place, and only now the media is not reporting on it because everybody knows they got to be hush-hush about it. But I can tell you it is integrated. It's intertwined into our corporations, okay? It hasn't gone anywhere. It's just now below the surface, but I'm telling you it is still there. Okay. Michael Proctor, good to see you. I think Kristi Noem's husband wants surgery, so that was a crazy story about Kristi Noem and her husband. Oh, my God. Apparently the man... I'm not even going there, but yeah. Thank you for that. He just probably felt himself become attracted to Lindsey Graham. Oh, that's a good one. I love it. I love it. I love it. Let's see here. Julie Allen. Wow. Julie Allen's on here tonight. I want to send a shout out to Julie Allen, especially for the work that she's doing. I'm just trying to reciprocate what we're learning and what people need to know. But you guys are amazing. Julie Allen is absolutely amazing. I can't say enough about people. I mean, like, when you start thinking about, like, Field Cersei, Sam Carline, Garland Favorito, Sandy Marcus, Julie Allen, these people that are, like, leaders that have been putting in the work, Operation Echo, if you don't know what it is, you just need to go check it out. But it's amazing to me that I'm even privileged to sit in these groups of these people. And like, this is, I know this probably won't get a lot of views or whatever. This is my meat and potatoes. This is what I love learning and educating is like, this is where the battle's at. But thank you, Julie, for everything you do. Yes, the flu shot bill, which was 218, 645. It's so crazy. Mike Pons, good to see you tonight. He shared a link with us. David Naha, man, you've been gone for way too long, brother. You need to call me after Easter and we'll go get some lunch. Another 23, good to have you tonight. Thank you. I'm doing the best I can, and I did not want to just get too crazy with it, guys. But if you follow me on Roy Hambrick, we're going to continue to just shoot these links out tomorrow. Little links that you can just go to, and you can sign up to these emails, and they'll send them to you. And all you got to do is click on there. It's a pre-written letter, and you can send it, and it sends it to these people. And numbers is what we need. Vortex Eagle Patriot, thank you, sir, for everything that you do. Absolutely, ivermectin. Oh, don't even get me started on it. Ivermectin. Why on earth are we shielding ivermectin away from people is absolutely insane to me. And Trish Anne says no one should be forced to take a vaccine, no matter their age or health condition. Abso-freaking-lutely. Chris says he likes his parasites. Oh my goodness, I love you, Chris. Michael Proctor got a buddy, started rubbing ivermectin on his head, made his hair start growing back. I mean, look, we're not here to give medical advice, but for crying out loud, if you're not reading the studies on ivermectin and realizing like how much this stuff has been suppressed to the human population, you're not informed, folks. You're not informed. It's time that we take our own health and our own priorities, because the doctors, the medical field is all Rockefeller funded by the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds. It's all oil based. It's not designed to get us well. It's designed to keep us sick, folks. Richard Schroeder, he's my hero. Let's see. Vortex Eagle says the corruption will continue until the tribunals begin. I really believe that. I think we're running out of run out of options here, you know? Running out of options. So, yes, data centers is where they will store your social credit and all your movements. Not only that, you got your digital self there. We're giving them that now. Gosh, we could go into a whole nother hour. Let's see. Oh, yeah, Kemp loves data centers. Absolutely. So let me come on down a little bit. Breadcrumbs under the table. You're right, Richard. I am so tired of breadcrumbs, you know? And another 23 says, who do you think wrote HB 214? Maybe the lobbyists for the voting software companies. Absolutely. I mean, they're one of the biggest lobbies. Trust me, I got a special that I'm trying to get going. It's going to go a lot more in depth on that. And I'm glad it's taken me this long because I want to get through SIne Die before I drop it. So, because if what I think happens is going to happen tomorrow, the video will be very, very fitting. So, yeah. Just remember outvoting the cheat. I agree with that. Look, I just want to be public. I'm not saying that I'm never going to vote again. I'm working on a ton of interviews right now that are coming up. But, man, it's so disheartening. Your vote is the only leverage tool that you have. Okay? And all I'm saying is if we can't get the simplest form of election integrity, and we've been fighting for years, and what is the point? And maybe there is no point. Maybe we just don't give up and we keep voting in this fraudulent election system because we have to. But my God, man, it comes to a point where if they're not taking this seriously, why should I, you know? I mean, who deserves to be in power and control but not giving that power and control to the people, right? The check and balance. If they're keeping it for themselves and they're continually, you know, being able to do whatever they want with the elections, it just makes me so mad. And Christopher says Fulton County did get smacked down a few days ago in court. However, the judge still has not ruled on that yet. So, excuse me, the news articles were a bit misleading because guess what? At least, and I know of this moment, the judge has not gave an actual ruling on it yet. So we're still, the breadcrumbs, the slow crawl is still there. Still there. But, yeah. Good comments. I'm getting down to the nitty-gritty. Michael Proctor, but our air is full of chemtrails. Careful, Michael. You start talking about chemtrails, and people are going to call you a conspiracy theorist, so you better be careful, brother. Oh, I can't wait to get rid of Kemp. Vortex says we have selected some goofy and corrupt reps and senators. I do agree with that. Richard asked me if I'm going to be at the Capitol tomorrow. Sadly, no, Richard, I'm not. I have to really watch my time this year and how I do work. A lot of you guys know that I work 2 jobs, raising a family, taking care of my old man, a lot of stuff, and then people still ask me how I have enough time to do this. I don't know. Only by the grace of God do I. But as much as I would love to go down to Atlanta with you guys, and I would love to have been there with Antonio, I think it was yesterday, for the Able Child Project, and I was going to go to a Greg Dozal event, and I can't make it because spring is here, and I've got so many things I've got to do, and we've got sports. And I'm always tell you guys, the January through May is like the worst time of year for me because we got so many things going on. And so I'm just trying to balance my life, man. And so the best I can do is do a show like this and try to get more people involved. But I do pray for everybody going down there tomorrow. I wish I could be right there with you, brother. I really do. But yes, we continue to pray. Jan Papa, good to see you. Talk about how all the election supervisors are controlled by Gavrio. Now that, no. And Jan, I absolutely love you. And addendum to that, it was exactly what we're going to be covering in the special situational awareness that I'm coming up working on as we speak. And I pushed it back till after tomorrow. But yes. Talk about how all the election supervisors are controlled by Gavrio, and they were trained on another election voting machine, ES&S. So that's a little taste of what's coming up. So Sharon Holland, love you. Good to see you. Lisa Adams, love you, girl. Louis D'Alessandro, good to see you and thank you. Please keep us please keep us afloat of what's going on with Ebony Esperanza out in California. David Cross, these people wear the badge of Republican or Democrat like I change my shirt each day. Yeah, man, David, you're one of my heroes. I appreciate it. Ray Blankenship, good to see you. It's a cycle that never stops. We keep holding our noses. Well, some do, exactly. Man, the comments are getting good. David has a message to email in the State House leadership and ask them to bring Bill 960. Same thing. That's going to be your number one bill tomorrow, guys. 960, all right? I want it to pass. So we're going to be flooding everything tomorrow with that, okay? David says, God bless you. We should not have to coerce our politicians. I couldn't agree with you more, and God bless you, sir. Family first. Absolutely. You know, like I said, I'm doing the best I can, man. If I win the lottery, me and Antonio and probably more are going to create like a huge media company, and we'd be unstoppable, and I would be down at every single one of these events. But I am a poor man who is lucky and blessed enough to be able to do this. And so y'all just got to understand, man, I do work 2 jobs. If you just, I don't know if you can see this, but I scrubbed and scrubbed. I was pretty much black. I sent Antonio the picture earlier. Man, it's been a rough couple weeks, a lot of machine breakdowns. And I didn't even want to do the show tonight, but I've had a blast. So anyway, I've had to back off. And Lisa, you know, a lot of the people are out there, you know, doing everything they can. And I'm lucky to have people to take care of. I love the people I take care of. It's well worth it. And I also love you guys. Thank y'all for everything. I went longer. I try to keep this under an hour, but hey, it's under an hour and a half. I am self-funded. I only have one donation link. It is, you can go to my website, www.smalltownunderground.com. It's a Give, Send, Go link if you feel like giving, if you have the ability to give. We are self-funded here. That's the only link I have, the only link I want. So if you like the show, if you want to help me out, of course you can donate money that way. Other than that, I ask nothing but your prayers as we move forward. Everybody say a special prayer tonight for SIne Die. We've covered a lot of the bills here tonight, and you watch my social media tomorrow, and I'm going to be piggybacking off of each one of these groups that I mentioned to try to get out as much information. And all you got to do, folks, is just get that phone and then go into the link and then just push it forward. And we want these people sweating bullets tomorrow. We want 960. We want paper ballots. It's all there is to it. And then once tomorrow's over with, guess what? We're stuck with whatever we got, and then it's full-on clown show for the next whatever May primary, where everybody's fighting with each other and everybody is telling you how much they love you because they got to vote for you on these fraudulent, Dominion, stupid QR code machines. That's all I got for you tonight, guys. It'll be slow go until after April 7th, and then you're going to see a lot drop. Expect a situational awareness to come out as soon as I can get it done. Love you. Have a great evening.
Legislature legalized unverifiable voting in 2000.
Like you said to Trump, but they're getting beauty.
They said, go out there and rob these houses and bring back the bounty, and then that'll pay your way.
Because Republicans who get endorsement from Georgia carriers that they mean anything.
You can't sit on the sidelines any longer. You must get involved in the game. This is your sign.